Last summer, my friends Mike, Sarah, and Jake and I went camping near Crater Lake in Oregon. The plan was simple. We'd spend 2 nights by the lake, set up camp, build a fire, chat, and just chill. The first day was perfect. We pitched our tents by the lake, lit a fire, cracked open some beers, and had an evening full of laughter. But the second night, everything turned upside down. Around midnight, while we were sitting around the fire, I suddenly heard a rustling sound. At first, I thought it was the wind, since it was pretty cool and breezy by the lake. But the rustling didn't stop. It got closer. Jake noticed it too, because he suddenly went quiet and whispered, "What was that?" We all strained our ears. The sound was coming from the bushes behind the tents, like someone was walking slowly, deliberately. The steps were heavy, careful, but clear. "Maybe it's an animal," Sarah said, but her voice was shaky. Mike grabbed the flashlight and pointed it at the bushes. Nothing, just darkness and dense trees. "Come on, it's just the wind," I said, trying to calm myself down. But right then, in the firelight, I saw a shadow. Between the tents, a tall, thin silhouette appeared for a moment, and then vanished. My heart jumped to my throat. "Did you guys see that?" I asked, my voice cracking. Jake said, "See what?" But from his face, I could tell he knew something was off. He shone the flashlight at the bushes again, scanning more slowly this time. And then, something glinted in the bushes, like metal, but we couldn't quite make it out. Mike gathered his courage and shouted, "Who's there?" No answer, just silence. But that silence wasn't normal. It was like everything had stopped, holding its breath. Sarah said, "Come on, let's go inside," and headed toward the tent. But right then, another sound came from the other side of the camp, near the lake. This time it wasn't rustling, but a snap, like someone breaking a branch. Jake swung the flashlight in that direction, and we all froze. By the lake, right at the water's edge, there was a pair of boots. Old, worn-out leather boots, but no one was there. The boots were just standing there, as if someone had deliberately left them. "Those aren't ours, right?" I said. But we all already knew the answer. We'd checked all our stuff when we brought it to the tents. Those boots didn't belong to us. Mike said, "Maybe they're from other campers," but his voice wasn't convincing. There were no other campers around. The nearest campsite was miles away. At that moment, the rustling from the bushes started again, but this time it was faster, more aggressive. And then I heard a voice, a whispering voice, but I couldn't make out what it said. It was like a word, but muffled, incomprehensible. Sarah screamed and ran to the tent. Jake and Mike followed her, but I was rooted to the spot, because that whisper was now clearer, and it felt like it was coming from right next to my ear. "Leave." I turned, but there was no one there. I shone the flashlight everywhere, but just darkness. My heart was pounding so hard my chest hurt. I ran to the tent, zipped it up, and threw myself inside. Inside, Sarah was crying and Jake was trying to secure the entrance, but of course, the tent didn't have a lock. "What the hell is going on?" Mike yelled. We didn't sleep until morning. Every rustle, every gust of wind made us jump. When morning came, the boots were still there, but now, next to them, there was something else. An old, rusty knife. None of us touched it. We packed up the tents, loaded our stuff into the car, and got out of there without looking back. I still think about that night. Who did those boots belong to? What was that whisper? And that knife? I don't know if I'll ever go camping again, but I never want to see the dark shores of Crater Lake again.